What is going on, Torontonian, Raptonian, Fantonians? Oh boy, we need to talk about these Toronto Raptors and what the heck we are going to do at this Thursday's trade deadline. What the last couple games have been stinkeramas. Well, sorry, actually, two of the last three games have been stinkeramas. The Oklahoma City Thunder game was close. We had it. We could have taken it. Too bad we just, I don't know what happened. Yes, Scotty Barnes seemed to have disappeared in the fourth quarter and the two overtimes, which doesn't feel the best, but, maybe there's something going on. Maybe he's injured. Maybe that he really is just having to adjust to all the other teams, scouting him. And with OG and Pascal gone, he's, our number one option. But tonight was not great. Raptors ended up losing 138 to 100 to the New Orleans Pelicans. Lots of garbage time. Couple of bright spots though. So let's just run through it quickly. Obviously, looking at I don't know what order I should be going in through the team, but I'm sitting on NBA.com's box score here. So let's just go down from the top the way they've got them listed. Bruce Brown. Obviously, Bruce Brown is out of here. I don't know. This guy, I'm sure that he's just beside himself that he's even in Toronto anyway. I mean, this guy wins a championship, signs a pretty solid contract as a free agent with the Pacers, and then suddenly he's traded midseason and going, what's going on? I thought I was going to be here, for a nice playoff run, and he will end up in some kind of a playoff run, it seems, depending on who he gets traded to. Although there is some word that the Lakers may not even make the playoffs, so it'd be interesting if he got traded there and then they didn't make the playoffs. But Bruce Brown, obviously, we got to get him out of here. Anything, I'll take I mean, a first round would be great, but a, a second round and a bag of peanuts because this guy's not doing much for our team. Again, if his head in the game, I think maybe he could contribute. And there's some talk that he fits our style. So possibly, I've seen a lot of people speculating that because of the potential trade, everyone's all anxious and not able to focus. I guess that's probably true. If I was doing my job and suddenly I was either going to get moved to, you know, the Atlanta field office and it was up in the air, my home life would be disruptive. So therefore, I would imagine my nerves and anxiety would be, you know, up. But Bruce Brown, I think we all agree he's out of here. Some picks. I mean, a serviceable player back. You never know who is out there, who you want to get. I do want to run through who our lineup is sort of the future because Grady Dick had a half decent game today, but we'll get to him. So Scotty Barnes, obviously he's staying. He's the centerpiece. He's who we're building around. Jakob Pertl, is he going to be gone? Are we going to trade him? I mean, I know we gave up obviously our first round pick that for some reason we seem to want to tank, which I'm still confused about. So if somebody can explain in the comments why we would want to tank when people are saying that this year's draft is not that great and then our pick is protected. So it's just going to carry over to potentially next year when we could at San Antonio use the pick, but and then are we going to tank again that year? Like, I don't really understand the point. Are we waiting until we're like championship level? I guess maybe that's the only thing that would make some sense is if we wait till we're a solid team. So then we put that pick into like the 20s, I guess. Um, but yeah, Jakob Pertl, is he going to be gone? I hope he's not. I think he still has potential to, even grow a little bit. I mean, at what is he, 28, 29, 27? You probably got what you're going to get with him, but I still think that there's room for him to improve, and especially if we can build our system and get, him used to quickly. I mean, we've had not only him coming in to the last bit of last season, but we've had a pretty decent personnel turnover with a new field general, Fred VanVleet leaving, and then now we switched it up and he's starting with Emmanuel quickly, and we've got Schroeder coming off the bench. So I don't know. I think keep Pirtle. The devil you know is better than the devil you don't. I heard some talk that we might trade him for Jonas and somehow end up with Jonas Valanciunas, which I guess might not be bad for some building years. I really hope that Koloko, could have been developed into a center of the future, but obviously with his respiratory, whatever those sort of personal problems are, that he hasn't even played a game this season. and hence was cut. That's obviously not an option. So I'd say try and keep Hurdle. He could certainly be a top 10 to 15 center in the league. He was playing decent actually. Him and Scotty got in a little bit of a pick and roll situation a few times early in this game before it was a complete blowout, and there were some decent plays. I think Jakob had the first 4, maybe 6 points of this game for us. So anyway, I say keep him. Gary Trent Jr. Again, if you've watched the channel, which not many of you have, but actually thank you guys. We got over the 50 subscriber mark, so if you don't mind hitting subscribe, that'd be great. But anyway, Gary Trent Jr., you know that I think this guy's got some talent. I think he's messed up in the head. I think he definitely is an emotional guy. And if there is anyone that's worried about, are we going to get traded and what are we going to do and what's the future for me, this guy is the guy. I say keep him and extend him. We could always ditch him later once he actually gets, his head in the game and officially is a starter and puts up 20 consistently. I mean, he's been shooting 50% from three, they're saying, the last few games. Of course, he was over 2 from three today, but it's the week of the trade deadline. And if we're going with the theme that people's heads are not in the game because they could be traded, then I guess, like I said, the week of the trade deadline makes sense for the timing. But I say keep him. Let me know what you guys think. Emmanuel quickly, obviously, we're keeping this guy. I mean, he's our guy of the future. Thad Young could go, could be gone. I mean, salary consideration. Yeah, obviously, he's a pretty solid guy to have, supposedly in the locker room and on the bench, motivating some of the young guys. So I'm sort of, you know, complacent whether he stays or goes. Thad Young, you know, immaterial. Dennis Schroeder. Now, I think we should trade Dennis Schroeder. I think he signed a 2-year contract coming here. He's been okay. He certainly dipped a bit, especially since he's gone to the bench. Tonight, he had 0 points in 17 minutes, 0 for 4, 0 for 2 from 3. 5 assists. Okay, obviously that's what he's primarily out there for, as our point guard off the bench. But I don't know. I would like to see Schroeder traded, even if we got a second round pick. Because I think with Emmanuel quickly coming, we can develop either a second point guard or just find some young guy that's, faster and a little less of a ball hawk's not the right word, but it's weird because of the relationship, with the coach, um, and Schroeder having a history. Um, he seems to get important minutes down in crunch time where I'm like, why is Schroeder have the ball? Why is he the one driving? What are we doing here? So let's just erase that problem right now and let's get the future guy in and get him, some reps and training and all that sort of stuff. I mean, who knows who that is? Is it Marquise Noel, who claimed he's going to be the best Raptor of all time? He's doing okay in the G League, but is it Kira Lewis Jr.? Possibly. Then let's get Kira Lewis Jr., in some reps and coming off the bench and get Schroeder out of here. That's my opinion. Grady Dick was one of the positives tonight. He actually hit some threes. He was 50% from 3-point range tonight. Finally, finally, Grady has arrived. He's looked like a mess out there, missing just easy shots and layups and at the rim, just losing control of the ball and getting stuffed and turning it over. And oh, it's been difficult to watch. But obviously, Messiah and Bobby Webster have some ability to draft and develop players. So I have faith in them. They brought us players like Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam, who were all late drafts, and even OG. I know OG was injured at the time, so he fell a little bit further down the draft. But to get a guy like that, somewhere around, what was he, 14th or something? Um, Grady Dick was drafted much higher than that, and finally showed some signs as to maybe why he's on the team. So obviously, Grady Dick, I don't think we are trading. I mean, unless there was some crazy package that came up, but a contender's not going to want a young guy like that on their team anyway. And then Noara, he fell off a little bit from the video we did. Still, though, 50% from three. So again, maybe he should be taking a few more. Take some of the 3-point shots out of Jalen McDaniel's hands, or Garrett Temple. His were in garbage time anyway. But Noir seems to be a guy that we're keeping. So obviously he's not going anywhere. Jalen McDaniels, nobody's going to take anyway. Garrett Temple, we're not getting anything for. Chris Boucher is an interesting one. Um, because again, I'm a Boucher fan. You see signs when he's on and he's got the effort, and he's running all over the place. Like there was that game where he was even on the bench, if you remember, panting because he was just so exhausted from going up and down the floor and giving it his all. And he's a Canadian guy too. I mean, I'd like to see him do something, but there's been talk that he's out, and so maybe we got to ditch him and just get anything. And Otto Porter Jr. I mean, he's maybe the biggest disappointment of all time in a free agent signing. We thought that he was going to contribute coming out of Golden State, um, but he hasn't done much. Jonte Porter, I guess we're keeping him. He wasn't playing today. He was inactive. I don't know. I'm imagining that he must have a minor injury or something. Um, so Kira Lewis Jr., if we're gonna, have him be our backup point guard of the future, then let's keep him. I don't see enough of Javon Freeman Liberty. I guess I got to watch some G League games. Same as Marquise Noel, and then R.J. Barrett. Obviously, we're keeping him too. So it seems like our future is what? Where are we heading after this trade deadline? Are we going to have sort of Emmanuel quickly as our point guard? Gary Trent Jr. sticking around would be what I wouldn't mind seeing as our shooting guard. We got RJ Barrett as our small forward, I guess, if you have Scotty Barnes as the power forward. And then you got Jakob Poeltl at center. Then who is our secondary line? Jonte Porter, I guess, is our backup center. Then you've got, well, I guess what we just discussed, Kira Lewis Jr. being our backup point guard. Our backup shooting guard is Nawara, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. Do they have their heights on here? Let me see what we got here for Nawara. Oh, just saying Nora. I don't know if ESPN is correct on their heights here because I keep hearing Grady Dick is 6'8", but on here they have him at 6'6". And then they've got Nawara at 6'8". So, all right, maybe you switch those. And Grady Dick is our shooting guard. Off the second line. That could work, I guess. Nawara is the small forward. And as we said, Jonte Porter is our center. So who is our power forward on that second line? I mean, can't be Jalen McDaniels. I mean, does this guy have potential? Again, I got to look at what he's possibly doing down in the G League. If we end up keeping Boucher, maybe he's that guy. Um, yeah, hard to say. Hard to say. Anyway, let me know who you guys think should be our secondary power forward. As far as Raptors tonight go, not a great game. As we already have discussed, we got a bunch of minuses on the plus minus for every starter. Bruce Brown, I don't know how we're going to get anything for this guy. I really think we should be just benching him. But now it's too late for that, obviously. But people hopefully will go on his past and buy into that he's just not motivated. Um, yeah, rest of the game, like Scotty Barnes at 17, that's a decent from him, especially since he didn't play very many minutes, especially in middle of the fourth quarter to the end. It was pretty much garbage time in this one. It was such a bad blowout. But Gary Trent, 2 points, minus 16. Gary, get your head in the game, Gary. Toronto Raptors, hire a psychiatrist. Anyway, that's my thoughts for the trade deadline. I think we just got to grab some picks and things. There's not really anybody out there to target because it would just be too much of throwing a blanket out there as to what teams were even involved with. I mean, I've seen videos that Bruce Brown's going to the Nets. I've seen that he's going to be a Laker. I've heard that Dallas is maybe interested. I guess we could, as it gets closer to the deadline, look at maybe some players from some of those teams and see what we think is going to happen. But for now, Mr. Beast for president. And thank you very much for watching. Thank you for liking, subscribing. One of my videos blew up a couple of videos ago. Not sure why. I hope you liked it. But please comment and let me know what you'd like to see. And thanks for watching.